As we look ahead, there are several First Alert Weather impact days, 3 of them to prepare for this week coming up. I want to show you when you need to be ready for the stormiest time and the potential of severe weather.
The Trump administration is urging Americans to leave more than a dozen countries in the Middle East. I'm Rachel Hersheimer on Capitol Hill with the latest developments as the attacks continue to intensify.
Independent city leaders moving ahead on a plan to build a big data center offering lots of tax breaks. We'll explain why lots of people like it and many people don't.
From Kansas City's news leader, this is KMBC 9 News at noon.
Well, thanks for joining us today at noon. I'm Jamie Weiss. As the war is expanding in the Middle East, the State Department is urging Americans to leave the region. The death toll is rising, and the Pentagon says Iranian bombs have killed 6 American service members. Washington correspondent Rachel Hersheimer is following the latest developments from Capitol Hill.
The Trump administration is explaining its reasoning for its military operation in Iran.
There absolutely was an imminent threat, and the imminent threat was that we knew that if Iran was attacked, and we believed they would be attacked, that they would immediately come after us.
President Trump is laying out his objectives, from destroying Iran's nuclear capabilities to annihilating their navy.
We're ensuring that the Iranian regime cannot continue to arm, fund, and direct terrorist armies outside of their borders.
On Capitol Hill, many Democrats are refuting the administration's claims.
There was no imminent threat to the United States of America by the Iranians.
The administration has failed to provide any justification for these preemptive strikes.
Iran is expanding its retaliatory attacks, striking the U.S. Embassy in Saudi Arabia Monday, causing minor damage. The death toll is climbing. Airstrikes by the U.S. and Israel have killed more than 780 people in Iran since the start of the war, according to the Iranian Red Crescent Society. The U.S. is now urging Americans to evacuate more than a dozen countries in the Middle East.
In their memory, we continue this mission with ferocious, unyielding resolve to crush the threat this terrorist regime poses to the American people.
Here on Capitol Hill, Secretary of State Marco Rubio met with leaders of Congress last night, and he is also expected to meet with members from both the House and Senate later today. In Washington, I'm Rachel Hersheimer.
Well, we are learning more about the involvement of B-2 bombers from Whiteman Air Force Base that were involved, I should say, in this past weekend strikes in Iran. This is a 37-hour round-trip flight in order to carry out that mission. Military leaders say crews carried out precision strikes on underground missile facilities. We spoke with people in Nab Nasser who live near that base. They say it's sobering to know their community plays a role in the operations of this scale.
It is kind of crazy to think about that. You know, our neighbors are, the ones handling the strikes and taking care of business.
They fly literally right over our house and stuff. So that's really exciting for us to get to watch because we've never got to see that type of thing.
B-2 crews from Whiteman were also involved with Operation Midnight Hammer in June that also targeted Iran. We're going to continue to watch the developments out of the Middle East throughout the day. You can keep it tuned to KMBC 9 and KMBC.com as we follow the new information coming into our newsroom and share what it all means for you. Back here at home, prosecutors are charging a man with second-degree murder in a fatal shooting last month. Witnesses say Tyler Paris was arguing with another man outside of a home near East 31st Street and Brighton Avenue. Paris then allegedly shot at the victim. The man was dropped off at the hospital where he died. His charges include second-degree murder, 2 counts of armed criminal action, and unlawful use of a weapon. Independent city leaders have approved a package of tax breaks for the construction of a data center on the east edge of the city. KMBC 9's Martin Augustine shows us an emotional hearing from last night's city council meeting.
Lots of emotion at that meeting at City Hall last night. But on one hand, this data center will create all sorts of construction jobs and more than 100 full-time jobs once it's up and running, and put a lot of money into the independent school district.
We just take a 5-minute recess.
Yeah, we'll take a 5-minute recess. Thank you.
But on the other hand, you heard the shouts there from people opposed to the plan, worried that construction of the 2 million square foot facility will harm their quiet neighborhoods, sap utility service with tax breaks for the data center that come at the cost of basic city services. Supporters argue it's a rare opportunity for employment within the city.
It's a burden you're trying to place on our community. And the cost is just not financial. It's environmental and deeply personal for each Independence resident.
As a city council, you guys have got to make the decisions on the facts. The first thing that is factual, this will provide jobs. Nobody can deny that this will provide jobs.
That data center will go up on 400 acres of land near 78 Highway on Little Blue Parkway, receiving 20 years of tax breaks. But its owners, the European-based Nebius Group, say it'll pay hundreds of millions of dollars to the city and school district over the lifetime of the agreement in lieu of traditional property taxes. In the end, the Independence City Council voted 5-2 to approve the plan, and the plan's been endorsed by the Independence School District. Reporting from Independence, Martin Augustine, KMBC 9 News.
Well, Independence is not the only Missouri town dealing with plans for a data center. Meta has a data center near Smithville. That's at 169 and 435. Google is also developing a data center in the same area. In Kansas, there's a zoning debate in Spring Hill along 191st that could bring a data center to a rural residential area. Today, Kansas City's Neighborhood and Planning Commission will be discussing a plan that would let some marijuana dispensaries operate 24 hours a day with a special permit. The business would need to be at least 1,000 feet from a residential zone district. The commission will meet at 1:30 this afternoon. Severe Weather Preparedness Week continues today, and the focus for today is flood safety. It's another reminder to not do this. Don't drive or stand in high standing water. So this is video from last July near 9th and Hardesty. Just a good reminder that if you see water, turn around, don't drown. It is just a dreary day today. Going to be kind of dreary all this week. That's, of course, that video we're talking about with that flood safety. But Nick, fortunately, we don't really need to be concerned about flooding risks for today, do we?
No, not for today. Not enough rain, not enough rain for tomorrow. But toward the end of the week, Friday evening, Friday night, I do think there's a potential for flooding there with the next big storm that comes through today, tomorrow, Friday. All three impact days. Friday has a little bit more weight to it as far as the potential of severe thunderstorms. Right now, it's cloudy, it's dreary, it's misty, there's drizzle, there's not widespread downpours or thunderstorms. We just don't have that instability for today, but it is a day for a warm raincoat or an umbrella if you don't want to get wet. Drizzle reported at the airport, visibility down to 1 mile, only 0.2 of an inch of rain so far for today because it's so light. Again, it's more like drizzle. 42 degrees with an east to northeast breeze, kind of locking this chill in here for much of the Kansas City region, but just to the south here, here's the warm front. You go south of that boundary and it's a south wind, temperatures in the low to mid 50s from Lacine to Butler, Clinton and Warsaw. And then north of that boundary, it gets quite chilly with temperatures in the low to mid 40s. I think we're going to stay on the colder side of that boundary today here in Kansas City with temperatures in the mid 40s, periods of drizzle, maybe a few showers into this evening. There is the possibility of a few thunderstorms overnight, not anticipating severe weather. About the worst we'll get is maybe a little bit of hail from maybe 1 or 2 storms. Wednesday, also an impact day, off and on showers, couple of thunderstorms, so kind of a lot like today. Thursday is our dry day, our warmer day, and it's going to start to feel more humid. I think you're going to feel that change Thursday afternoon into Friday morning. 2 rounds of storms possible on Friday, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon. What happens in the morning will play a deciding factor in how strong storms could become late Friday afternoon and evening ahead of the cold front. The risk of severe weather is relatively higher on Friday compared to today and tomorrow. Jamie.
Nick, thank you. We know you and the rest of the weather team will pay close attention to that forecast for us. Well, here's something that may brighten your spirits a little bit. We are counting down to the World Cup. Today marks 100 days until the start of the 2026 FIFA Men's World Cup, kicking off between Mexico and South Africa. Downtown Kansas City will be lit up green and gold to honor the World Cup. Some other host cities are also changing their skyline colors too. That includes Seattle, New York, and Dallas. We of course know that hundreds of thousands of fans are expected to come to KC to cheer on the teams that play at Arrowhead Stadium this summer. That includes some passionate fans from the Netherlands. The Orange will be setting up camp at the KC Current Practice Facility in Riverside. On Monday, a veteran soccer Dutch journalist was touring Riverside to report back about what fans can expect come June. And he believes the Dutch and KC soccer fans are going to get along just fine.
The people in Holland are open-minded, the people from here are open-minded. Let's put it together and give the best of Kansas City to the Dutch, and the Dutch will respond in the same way. Fans will follow, will sing, and all will dress in orange, so the people from Kansas City who want to be part of that family can put on something orange and join, and everybody would love it.
Groot says he expects it to be a party, especially when fans do the traditional march to the match and a sea of orange walks to the stadium. We'll keep you posted if there's any road closures for that. But with the World Cup fast approaching, Missouri lawmakers are working on a plan designed to make sure owners of short-term rentals don't get hit too hard in the wallet. At the center of this debate, how much these short-term rentals can be taxed. Senator Maggie Nirenberg from Clay County is a sponsor of one of these bills that aims to help rental owners by letting rental properties be taxed as homes instead of commercial businesses. The senator says one bill has passed out of the House and is on to the Senate side, and their version of the bill is on the calendar for a vote. The owners of these properties say that bill could make a major difference as they open up their homes to visitors.
For Kansas City, Missouri last year, we contributed about $1.2 million to their tax coffers. And that's important. If these all go out of business, then that goes away.
Lawmakers have until the second week of May to approve that bill. A local elementary school is shutting down at the end of the year. The reason why Hogan Prep is preparing to close and the impact it could have across the campuses. Plus, a new study shows teenagers aren't getting enough sleep, and it's going to have serious consequences on their health. Why researchers say it's not just screen time impacting sleep.
Your source for first alert weather and News Chopper 9, Kansas City's news leader, KMBC 9 News.
A Kansas City Metro Prep Elementary School is closing its doors at the end of the school year. Hogan Prep Elementary will be closing after the school says the Missouri Charter Public School Commission did not invite them to renew their charter. This move will not impact the middle or high schools, but Hogan Prep is working with families to figure out next steps for students. Teenagers are not getting enough sleep. That is according to a new study saying it's having serious effects on their health. As ABC's Ashan Singh reports, screen time isn't the only reason this is happening.
From school to activities, teenagers are tired, and it's likely because they're not getting enough sleep. A new study of more than 120,000 high school students finds nearly 77% are missing the mark on the recommended amount of sleep on school nights, up significantly from 69% when the study began in 2007. But the most dramatic shift is in the kids getting the least amount of sleep. Nearly 1 in 4 teens now report sleeping 5 hours or less per night.
And there is biology there that says it's harder when kids enter those teen years to get to bed on time.
The trend was seen across grades, sexes, and ethnic groups, though increases were larger among non-Hispanic Black teens. Researchers found teens who report depression symptoms, bullying, or suicidal thoughts were more likely to sleep less, but sleep loss also rose among teens without those factors. Researchers say the trend likely reflects broader pressures in teens' daily lives, not just screen use. Though a separate review of more than 4,500 children and young adults found that more overall screen time was linked to later bedtimes, but not necessarily worse sleep quality or shorter duration. However, using screens once already in bed was associated with worse sleep that night.
Parents can make sure screens are out of rooms, try to get the kids to turn the screens off before bedtime, make sure they're exercising, getting into sunlight during the day, and try to keep a consistent bedtime week and weekend.
And the Journal of the American Medical Association points to school start times as a major factor for insufficient sleep, saying that studies suggest a school start time of 8:30 a.m. or later for longer sleep times for teenagers. Ashan Singh, ABC News, New York.
In a move that many Chiefs fans saw coming, the team is planning to part ways with starting right tackle Jawaan Taylor. That's according to a report from ESPN's Adam Schefter. The move should free up about $20 million in cap space. Taylor was one of the league's leaders in penalties over the past few seasons. The Chiefs have already released defensive end Mike Dana in a similar cap space saving move last week. We are going to have to see how this impacts the Chiefs' draft plans next month. The Kansas City Chiefs have the 9th overall pick in the 2026 draft. That'll take place April 23rd through the 25th in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The Kansas City Royals made a move to add another outfield option this season. The team has signed veteran Starling Marte to a 1-year contract. The 37-year-old from the Dominican Republic has played for 5 teams over his 14-year career, most recently with the New York Mets last season. The Royals designate Darian Blanco for assignment in a corresponding move. Well, the Royals are going to be without many of their starters as they gear up for the World Baseball Classic. The boys in blue took on the Angels in spring training Monday, and they got out to an early lead in the first, but it wasn't enough. Noah Cameron had a rough outing, going 2 2/3 innings, giving up 3 runs on 6 hits. The Royals lose 5-4. The Royals will have an exhibition game today against Cuba. First pitch in Surprise is set for 2:05 our time. Hopefully better weather there in Arizona, because here, Nick, it is just going to be a dreary, misty day.
With the greatest potential of widespread thunderstorms, which could even produce some severe weather late Friday afternoon and Friday evening. Today and tomorrow, you need to be prepared for mist, drizzle, off and on showers, maybe a rogue thunderstorm during the day and at night. You know, there's the potential of a few showers, a couple of thunderstorms overnight, but the risk of severe weather today and tomorrow is very low. That changes on Friday, anticipating 2 rounds potentially of rain and thunderstorms. The first early Friday morning, we'll be monitoring the Oklahoma-Texas Panhandle, western Oklahoma, southwestern Kansas, Thursday afternoon and evening to see if storms fire up there, which would move toward Kansas City for Friday morning. If that happens, that will tend to make the environment less favorable for strong storms ahead of the cold front Friday afternoon and Friday evening. If we stay relatively rain-free, or if the atmosphere can recover enough instability before that front moves through late in the day on Friday, the severe risk is going to remain elevated ahead of the front late Friday afternoon and evening. For today, no risk of severe weather. Drizzle, cloudy, cool, maybe a thunderstorm or 2 for this evening, but again, very little risk of any severe weather today. Tomorrow, good days for a warm raincoat in case you do get caught underneath one of these on and off rain showers for Wednesday. A little bit warmer with temperatures reaching into the low 50s. I know that hour-by-hour forecast for tomorrow looks like it's going to be a really rainy day, but it really won't be. I mean, a cloudy sky with a little bit of mist, a few showers and storms possible, especially just after lunchtime into tomorrow evening. And then the rain and storms will move out for for Wednesday night to Thursday morning. Thursday, that's your warm and dry day. You're going to feel that warmer change. You're also going to notice the humidity increasing with dew points reaching into the 60s for Friday morning. Rain and storms morning and then late afternoon and evening on Friday. See how the temperature warms into the mid 70s. So the atmosphere does start to become more favorable for thunderstorms. Warmer, more humid, strong winds aloft, cold front moving in. A lot of check marks for severe weather, but they all have to come together just right for it. That's what we're monitoring. Cold front on Saturday, a lot chillier, and then we spring ahead 1 hour. Saturday night, Sunday morning, begin daylight saving time. Temperatures in the 70s for early next week, and then rain and storm chances pick back up again next Tuesday and Wednesday. But I want to bring you back to Friday. Friday's enhanced risk, or relatively higher risk of severe weather beginning in North Texas up across Oklahoma, eastern Kansas, and western Missouri ahead of this cold front late Friday afternoon and evening. This depends heavily on if the morning rounds of storms develop, and if they do, how much instability is left later on in the day. We're also looking at several other different parameters, but that's a big one. I mean, it's a tale as old as time here in Kansas City. Morning storms augmenting or changing the environment ahead of the cold front later in the day. This is something we're going to watch because it is going to change leading up to Friday. Rainfall amounts, some concern for flash flooding toward the end of the week. A lot of this rain will be picked up late Friday night into early Saturday morning. Not as much as what I saw yesterday, but there's still enough there, 1 to 2 inches for possibly some localized flooding. So what you need to do today to prepare for what's coming, check the forecast daily for updates, review your severe weather safety plan, and make sure you have ways to receive alerts like the KMBC app or No Other Radio. Jamie.
All right, thank you, Nick. Well, big changes when it comes to filing your taxes that might put more money in your pocket. Consumer Reports reveals what you need to know before you file. Well, some of the biggest tax changes in years could hit your federal return right now, from untaxed tips and overtime to a new incentive for new car buyers to a bigger child tax credit. KMBC 9's Donna Pittman and Consumer Reports are breaking down what this means for you and what to do if you end up owing money.
Let's start with the changes tied to the One Big Beautiful Bill. First, no federal taxes on tips, which actually means you may be able to take a federal deduction on reported tip income up to $25,000.
And there's going to be a lot of taxpayers, particularly in the service industries, that are going to qualify for this deduction. If you make a certain amount, then that deduction starts to reduce until it does completely phase out.
It's the same school of thought for the new no tax on overtime deduction. You might be able to deduct up to $12,500. Attention seniors 65 and up. If you file a return, you might qualify for an additional $6,000 deduction. There are income limits. It phases out if you make more than $75,000. To keep up with inflation, the child tax credit has increased to $2,200 per child. If you financed a new car for personal use last year, you might be able to deduct interest up to $10,000. Here's the deal. The final assembly had to have taken place in America.
So this is a deduction that's meant to stimulate purchasing of vehicles that are made in the USA. And taxpayers are going to have to provide the vehicle identification number, and this loan needs to originate with the purchaser of the vehicle.
Oh, the IRS and short on cash? Here's the important part. File by April 15th, pay what you can, then choose an option for the balance, either a credit card or an IRS payment plan known as an installment agreement.
Now, there is a fee to take advantage of this process, and it does not make the interest go away.
Bottom line, Consumer Reports says the key is knowing which changes apply to you, checking your withholding, keeping good records, and if you owe, file on time and set up a payment option that fits your budget. Also new this year, more transparency when it comes to basic math errors. If you goofed on your return, the IRS notice now must spell it out and explain exactly what's wrong, and then you'll have 60 days to challenge that. Donna Pittman, KMBC 9 News.
Well, at 12:27, we are taking a live look at the Country Club Plaza, where it is a dreary, rainy day. It's a First Alert Weather Impact Day. Nick and I are going to be back with more news and weather in just 3 minutes.
committed to serving our neighbors in Kansas and Missouri. Kansas City's news leader, KMBC 9 News.
Thanks for sticking with us at noon. I'm Jamie Weiss. First Alert meteorologist Nick Bender here monitoring the forecast. And we're kind of in this stretch of rainy days, dreary days. Today, though, not the worst of what we're seeing this week.
No, this is kind of blah. It's just
That's the perfect way to describe the forecast. It's blah today.
It's damp and it's a chilly day. We're north of a warm front. A lot of warmer air, a lot of moisture still south of Kansas City. It's not going to make it up here. You're probably going to see this through the rest of the day. Hopefully you had that warm rain jacket with you when you left this morning. Has some drizzle, a little bit of rain showers there at KCI. Not much rain so far in the bucket for today. I don't think we're going to get much rain for the rest of the day because it's just a light but persistent drizzle. And that's what's kind of keeping the dampness locked in with these northeast winds. But look down to the south. Winds are out of the south. Here in Lacine, Rich Hill, Adrian, Butler, Clinton, Warsaw, almost 60 degrees. So there's our warm front. It's not going to make much progress to the north today. So we're on the colder side of this front here in Kansas City and communities to the north with highs in the low to mid 40s. And it will remain damp with drizzle and low clouds for much of the afternoon to the evening. I can't rule out a rumble of thunder or two later tonight, but just very, very low risk of any severe weather, if any, today and tomorrow. Tomorrow may end up being a repeat of today with a cloudy sky and off and on showers, maybe a thunderstorm or two through Wednesday. Thursday will be your dry, warm day. You want to get outside. Ground might be a little on the soggier side, but you're going to notice the warmer change and you're going to notice it feeling more humid as well Thursday into Friday when that warm front does surge north of Kansas City, and will set the stage for our third impact day of the week on Friday. Rain and storm chances early in the morning and then late in the afternoon and the evening ahead of a cold front. What happens in the morning will play a deciding factor in how strong storms ahead of the cold front may become during the late afternoon and evening. The severe threat is elevated during that time. Jamie.
Okay, appreciate the heads up. Thank you, Nick. Well, there are growing questions about why the U.S. decided to strike Iran as the conflict escalates. Iran is now targeting U.S. bases and embassies in retaliation. ABC's Christiane Cordero is in Washington with what the Trump administration is saying now.
Today, smoke rises above several cities in the Middle East as the U.S. and Israel continue their offense against Iran's regime and its proxies. The American death toll is rising. The Pentagon says 6 U.S. service members have so far been killed in Iran's retaliation. Administration officials have repeatedly warned more American lives may be lost. The Trump administration has offered mixed messaging in the 4 days since the war started, first saying there was an imminent threat against the U.S. Then last night, Secretary of State Marco Rubio suggested it was Israel who perceived a threat from Iran and decided to strike its regime with or without the U.S.
We knew that there was going to be an Israeli action. We knew that that would precipitate an attack against American forces. And we knew that if we didn't preemptively go after them before they launched those attacks, we would suffer higher casualties.
Democrats and several prominent Republicans aren't convinced.
It's pretty clear that we're not going to gain anything more. And how do we know that? Because no one has explained what we're there to gain.
The scale of the strikes has led to chaos for civilians across the region. This commercial airplane is seen taking off from Beirut, disappearing into the smoke as it billows over the city's skyline. The passengers on board are among the relative few who can get out. Shekinah Lee from Chicago is stuck in Dubai, where she was on vacation when the strikes began.
So being here in the Middle East, miles and miles away from my home, I'm just overwhelmed. I'm anxious, I'm scared, and I'm desperate to get home.
The State Department has urged Americans in the Middle East to get out now. But given the airspace is closed over several countries, the reality is there are very few options. U.S. Ambassador to Israel Mike Huckabee pointed to one of the options, a bus that goes from Israel to Egypt and then catching flights from there. Christiane Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
Well, new at noon, the State Department now says that it is preparing military and charter flights for any Americans who want to leave the Middle East. Some Iranian Americans here in the metro are celebrating what they call a necessity intervention in their home country. We spoke with 2 women who believe removing what they call a violent regime is a first step toward restoring freedom in Iran. They say for those who have lived under the Iranian regime, the U.S. attack was welcomed. There is hope for a change in leadership and eventually fair elections and a new constitution.
If you are choosing now to say something, share something, read or talk about it, I hope people center it around the experiences and the voices of the people of Iran, because They are the ones who have been oppressed for 47 years by this regime.
She says any advocacy for a free Iran away from religious oppression and terror will make the world safer. We'll, of course, continue to follow the latest overseas and how this conflict affects lives here at home. You can follow all of our coverage on air and online at KMBC.com. A Kansas state senator and candidate for governor is pushing back on the Chiefs' move across the state line. Overland Park Democrat Cindy Holscher has published an op-ed in the Kansas City Star. She did so over the weekend, calling the proposed stadium plan a bad deal for taxpayers. She claims it mainly benefits billionaires.
Really, we're looking at a huge giveaway to a billionaire family at a time when regular families across Kansas are struggling with affordability, high property taxes. And again, we're already headed towards deficit spending when you're talking about the Kansas budget.
Senator Holscher also said the plan would redirect communities' future sales tax growth away from schools, roads, and public safety. Holscher is one of 3 Democrats running for Kansas governor in November. Marty Tooley and Ethan Corson will also be on the August primary ballot ahead of that November election. Well, now we want to turn to your Commitment 2026 coverage because it's election day for some voters in Kansas. A number of cities and towns will be holding some special elections today. In Johnson County, Edgerton voters will decide on a 1% city sales tax. If it's passed, money from the tax would go toward better infrastructure. The DeSoto and Olathe school districts are asking voters to approve bond issues to pay for changes to schools. Nick?
Jamie, as we look ahead, we're preparing for 3 First Alert Weather impact days coming up. I want to show you when you need to be ready for the potential of severe thunderstorms with First Alert Future Scan.
Soccer fans are going to need a place to stay during the World Cup. Missouri lawmakers want to make renting out your home a better deal. We are breaking down that proposal in Jeff City.
Your source for First Alert Weather and News Chopper 9, Kansas City's news leader, KMBC 9 News.
It's official, just 100 more days until the 2026 FIFA Men's World Cup comes to North America. The first game is June 11th. Mexico and South Africa will play at Estadio Azteca in Mexico City. This is the biggest stadium in North America, so perfect for kicking off the first World Cup spread across the continent. Games will be played in Mexico, Canada, and the U.S., and with the World Cup on its way, Missouri lawmakers have a match of their own against the clock. This all to do with legislation about property tax classifications for short-term rentals. KMBC 9's Rachel Ripp explains what's at stake for homeowners and the region's economy.
So this is a property in the Northland. It's got 3 bedrooms upstairs,
Susan Brown is planning on renting out her Airbnb for the World Cup, but current rules leave her uncertain about how much she'll be taxed if she does. Right now, Missouri lawmakers are working through legislation that would keep taxes at a residential rate. Advocates, including Brown, have been pushing for more specific language since last year.
Because of the traction and the light that we brought to the issue and the unfairness of it, that we had so much more support this year.
A lot of this traction stemming from Jackson County commissioners blocking reclassification efforts last June.
The estimated tax payment was $5,000 in 2024, was $12,500 in 2025. There have been very few, but a few, and it's enough to become alarming, property tax assessors that have reclassified from residential to commercial. About 12 out of 114 counties have done it.
Senator Maggie Nurenburn, a sponsor of one of these bills, says legislation has passed out of the House already. And as of Monday, legislation in the Senate is on the calendar for a vote.
I think we have some real momentum to get this done this session.
This should allow people to feel comfortable to do what they may be thinking about doing, or what we would all hope happens, which is more economic activity in the area with the World Cup here.
Rachel Ripp, KMBC 9 News.
We're going to continue to watch as this bill moves through the legislature. Lawmakers have until the second week of May to decide. If you own a small business in Kansas City preparing for World Cup fans, we want to hear from you. Email us at news@kmbc.com with what you're doing to get ready, and we may reach out. A new warning for parents of kids attempting to breathe fire, the dangerous trend going viral and having serious consequences. K-State and KU's women's teams hit the court this week as the Big 12 tournament returns to downtown KC. We'll show you what fans can expect on and off the floor. A new alert for parents about a dangerous social media trend for kids.
A new warning about another dangerous challenge going viral on social media. This time, the so-called fire breathing challenge.
We are not meant to breathe fire as human beings.
Authorities in Western Pennsylvania say a teenager is lucky to be alive after trying to breathe fire with isopropyl alcohol. The teen is now in the hospital intubated with serious burns.
Luckily, in this particular case, it did not burn the building down, but somebody really got hurt, and is going to have life-altering injuries from this incident.
Parents are being urged to pay close attention to what their children have access to when it comes to household products.
If they're doing their hair with chemicals, if they're taking isopropyl alcohol in the room or any type of fingernail polish remover, monitor your lighters and your matches. And educate your children.
In recent weeks, we've seen multiple cases of children injured after allegedly being inspired by trends or stunts online. In New York City, a 16-year-old had to be rescued after climbing this bridge and falling 70 feet down a narrow shaft, suffering severe injuries. In Illinois, a 9-year-old suffered third-degree burns when this toy he put in the microwave burst. A 7-year-old, apparently trying to copy the same challenge, ended up in a coma. The toy company says it worked with social media companies to remove videos showing misuse of the product.
Sophie Flay, ABC News, New York. Well, March is back, and so is the Big 12 tournament in Kansas City. The women tip off this week at the T-Mobile Center, and this year, fans are going to notice something new under their feet. The court is going high-tech with a full LED floor designed to enhance the game experience. Look at this. The new technology does come with a big question, though. Is this safe for players?
We've been on the topic of athlete safety from the start. It was never designed with a video floor in mind.
Well, Big 12 officials say Kansas City was the perfect place to debut this cutting-edge court, with the tournament expected to bring in more than $33 million for the Metro. So it all tips off this week, like we said, at the T-Mobile Center. In the first round tomorrow, 12th-seeded K-State takes on 13th-seeded Cincinnati at 11 a.m., and then 11th-seeded Kansas faces 14th-seeded UCF at 8 tomorrow night. The men's tournament will start next week. March Madness isn't just about the basketball, though. It's also about the food. FanFest at the Big 12 tournament is serving up school-inspired bites from every team in the conference. So you'll find KU's Big J loaded mac and cheese, K-State Power Cat steak tacos, Baylor brisket sliders, and even a Cincy cheese coney. From Cosmo churros to the Mountaineer pepperoni roll, it is a full court press of flavor in downtown KC. Okay, I'm definitely hungry now. Well, it is officially severe weather season, and when strong storms spike, our team of meteorologists is ready to keep you safe. It's also a team effort that involves the National Weather Service. KMBC 9's Brittany Foster walks us through how our local meteorologists work together during severe weather.
When the weather turns sour, our goal is to keep you safe and informed. It's a team effort between all 6 of us meteorologists at KMBC, but we also work closely with the National Weather Service.
KMBC and the National Weather Service chat and share our thoughts on the forecast together, but we each have different roles. Here at KMBC, we make our own weather forecast and then directly share that forecast with you on TV. We are the main line of communication with the public during severe weather. On the other hand, among the several roles of the National Weather Service, one of them is to issue severe thunderstorm watches and warnings.
A highly skilled warning forecaster can get a warning out in less than a minute if they have to. Get that polygon out, get the warning out to the public, and as soon as we hit send on the warning, it goes immediately out to the crawlers on TV. It hits NOAA weather radio. All the phone apps that everyone has, wireless emergency alerts, it'll set off all those things as soon as we issue the warning.
So the National Weather Service issues the warnings, and then we break them down and update you, the public, on TV. We each have different duties, but work together to keep you all safe. And that's exactly what we will do as we head into severe weather season. Matter of fact, we could see our first round of severe weather this week. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday are all impact days. Keep checking back in with us at KMBC for the latest updates to the forecast. You can also download the KMBC app or go to KMBC.com. At the National Weather Service in Pleasant Hill, Brittany Foster, KMBC 9 News.
And it was especially important because we are dealing with some first alert weather impact days today, tomorrow, Friday. Is your red polo ready?
Oh, it's always ready.
It's always ready.
Especially from March 1st onward. Just a well-trained chaser. Just always ready, always have the go bag, always ready to go.
But today is not a day of concern compared to later in the week, right?
Absolutely not. Yeah, very low chance of any severe thunderstorms today and tomorrow. That does increase some on Friday.
Okay.
There's a lot of ifs and thens with the severe risk on Friday. And it's still 4 days away, but this time of the year, we can start to see severe weather patterns, 3, 4, 5 days away with some level of accuracy. Today, tomorrow, low severe weather risk days. There could be some on and off showers throughout the day, a lot of drizzle, a lot of mist, and maybe a rumble or two today, tonight, or Wednesday afternoon, but very low risk of any severe weather. That does change on Friday. The potential for severe weather does increase, or the environment becomes more favorable. Warmer More instability, more wind shear, strong jet stream winds coming in from the west, and a cold front coming in at the surface. So those are the ingredients: lift, shear, instability, moisture for Friday. The ifs and the thens depend on whether or not it rains and storms Friday morning. If it does, it's going to eat a lot of that instability or fuel that the storms are going to need ahead of the cold front Friday afternoon, Friday evening. So that would lower the severe risk if it rains a lot in the morning on Friday. If it doesn't, if we stay relatively rain and storm free Friday morning, and then the cold front speeds up a bit and matches up with the peak instability of the day, well, then that severe risk is going to be higher. And we just don't know that yet. Those details are not clear. We don't know. We're hoping that we'll start to know a little bit more Thursday afternoon and Thursday evening, and then especially by Friday morning. 12-hour forecast for the rest of the day into the evening: drizzle, damp, cloudy, chilly. Again, could be a thunderstorm or two overnight. Not anticipating any severe weather. Tomorrow, much of the same, a cloudy sky, temperatures reaching into the low 50s. So that warm front will start to creep northward on Wednesday. You're not going to feel those warmer changes, I think, until Thursday. But there will be breaks in the dampness tomorrow, and then there'll be a little shower here, a little thunderstorm over there. But again, the chance of any severe weather next 2 days is pretty low. Thursday, warmer and more humid. So that warm front is going to lift north of Kansas City. You're going to feel the change. It's going to start to feel stormy. It's not going to storm, but it's going to start to feel like that. And then Friday, 75 degrees. So a lot warmer, more humid, instability, fuel for storms increasing. It really is going to depend on the speed of the cold front, the speed of that jet stream coming out into the plains, and then whether or not it rains and storms Friday morning. It'll be chillier behind the front on Saturday, and we'll spring ahead on Sunday for daylight saving time. Yeah, that's this weekend. We lose an hour of sleep, but the sunshine, we're gaining a lot more of that this month. Let me take you back to Friday. It's a larger enhanced risk of severe weather that includes northwestern Missouri, Kansas City, eastern Kansas, all the way down through Oklahoma and northern Texas as the cold front sweeps through. And this could be a crashing cold front, so moving very quickly late Friday afternoon into the evening. I want to emphasize the afternoon round of thunderstorms depends on the morning round of rain and storms.
The NWSL begins its season next week, and that includes the Kansas City Current. That's why Union Station is gearing up for their home opener. There are banners hanging outside the landmark, and inside of the Grand Hall, there is a brand new KC Baby photo op from Alpha Lit KC. It'll be on display daily from 6:30 a.m. to 11:30 p.m. through March 15th. The KC Current's home opener is next Saturday, March 14th, as they host the Utah Royals. Kickoff is set for 3. Tickets start at just $44.
It's going to stay damp and cloudy and chilly and drizzly today, tonight through tomorrow. Some off and on showers, a couple of thunderstorms, low severe weather risk for the next 2 days. Thursday will be warmer, drier, more humid leading up to Friday. That's the third impact day of the week, and that day has a relatively higher potential of severe thunderstorms during the late afternoon and evening as a cold front comes through. A lot's going to depend on whether or not it rains and storms in the morning, eats up that instability that storms will need late Friday afternoon and evening. We're going to watch that closely Thursday to determine what's going to happen on Friday.
We know you and the rest of the weather team are going to stay on top of it for us, Nick. So thank you. Thank you for joining us at noon. We'll see you at 4.